back to the Patrick Riggins Show here on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network. Yes, Bomb Iran. The regular listeners to this show know what that lead-in song means. We have more Iran news coming up this segment. Incidentally, I've received emails about that song asking who sings it. If you're wondering that same thing, I would make the classic Internet Usenet suggestion: Google is your friend. But for those of you not on speaking terms with that search engine, I don't know, maybe you've had a fight. Maybe Google forgot your birthday one year. Whatever the reason is, you don't use Google anymore. To those, I'd say, Bing is your buddy. No, really. This song, Bomb Iran, is by Vince, Vance, and the Valiants. So you can probably look that up on whichever search engine you use, and you can find that out there on the internet. The reason I ran that song coming in, though, is everyone's talking about Iran developing a nuclear bomb. Israel's talking about it. The United States is talking about it. The Middle East is talking about it. Everyone's saying if Iran gets a nuclear bomb developed, the world's going to end. You know, they said the same thing about Pakistan and India. If those two countries had nuclear bombs, then they would annihilate each other because of the Kashmir region. And if it wasn't for that, it would be something else. Hey, and don't forget North Korea. If they get a nuclear device, then they'll be using it on South Korea or Japan or maybe even the United States. We simply cannot allow them to have one either. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. They already do. And they haven't used it on any other country. So I guess we were wrong on that one, too. The question to ask yourself is, who's promoting this whole Iran can't be allowed to develop a nuclear device argument? Who keeps talking about it? Well, it's Israel and us, the United States, along with a couple of other of our allies and some anti-proliferation groups who need that grant money to, quote, study Iran's nuclear program. And who else is talking about it? Oh, yeah, Iran. But they're going to use it for leverage. They're not going to bomb anyone. And now you might be saying, now, Patrick, how do you know that? I'd say, my friend, that is why you listen to this radio show. Because the logic and reason you hear here on this show isn't matched anywhere else. The reason is I'm not blinded by rhetoric or party loyalty or misplaced patriotism. None of that affects me. That's why I can see through all this hype and pull back the curtain so you can too. To look at this logically, think about our country for a minute. We were developing a nuclear bomb and we kept everything top secret. Government built a whole city called Oak Ridge in Tennessee to work on this project. Everything was kept under wraps because we were developing this weapon to use against Japan. Now, whether that was a moral thing to do or not, it's an argument for a different show. The key to remember is we kept everything secret. Iran is practically selling tickets so the world can watch it develop nuclear technology for, quote, peaceful purposes. Now, why would they do this? Why would everyone know the secret? It's because they want something. They want respect. They want economic subsidies. They want technology transfers. They want something. And you can bet your life savings on it. If Iran was developing a weapon to use against Israel, no one would know about it until the thing went off over Tel Aviv. Iran's leaders aren't stupid, and their population is even smarter than their leaders, which isn't surprising because most citizens are more intelligent than the politicians running their country. But anyway, their leaders aren't dumb. They know lighting off a nuclear device in or over Israel will result in Iran being removed from the map. No two ways about it. In fact, the whole Middle East knows this same thing. Israel doesn't claim to have a nuclear bomb, but everyone knows they have them. And everyone knows they will use them if one's used against them and with devastating results. So Iran isn't looking to start a war that will result in its annihilation. It just isn't going to happen. If it was starting to look that way, you can bet someone close to the leaders is going to start taking them out. No one in the military wants their families being bombed or having to suffer through a nuclear holocaust. No one's going to stand by and allow that to happen, even if you have a crazy running the country. The minute it starts looking like Iran will no longer exist past next week, the military over there will start knocking on some doors to take over, or at least replace whoever's hell-bent on national suicide. So what's Israel's problem? Why do they want to attack Iran? Well, the closest example I could use that we would understand is Cold War hysteria. Israel sees in Iran a country that wants to eliminate its existence. And this is what Iran's leaders scream about. But that's all it is talk. If Iran was serious about setting off a nuke in Israel, there are plenty of ones you could probably pick up from the former Soviet republics. The Russians have admitted they can't account for every nuclear device out there. There's plenty floating around. So where are they? They're somewhere, yet none of them have been detonated. It's because these nuclear weapons used to be a deterrent, but now they're becoming a bargaining chip. Just like chemical weapons are in Syria and other countries around the world. When things start looking rough, when the going gets tough, you start preaching some crazy rhetoric, and the money will start flowing in to buy you off. This tactic was used by U.S.S.R. Arafat for decades. He died with money hidden all over the world. Money sent to him in order to bribe the PLO into leaving Israel alone. When he wanted more money, he rattled a saber and made some speeches about running Israel into the Mediterranean. Now, the numbers vary, but most organizations that have looked into his personal wealth put him at close to $1 billion when he died. $1 billion with a B. You see, having weapons and soldiers can pay off for a country if they're wanting to use them to get aid dollars from the international community. And that's mainly what they're doing. We are out of time already this week here on the Patrick Riggins Show. If you want more information about us, you can go to our Facebook page, which incidentally is over 12,000 people liking this show already, keeping updated on this show. And you can join them. Just go to facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show and hit that like button on the page, and you'll kept updated as to what's going on here each week. That's facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show. And you don't have to be a member of that Facebook. You can just go to that page. Also, youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show is where our archives are located. And if you want to email us, patrickriggins@gmail.com, or you can drop us a card or letter here at WOKI. Remember, liberty begins with you in your mind. Join me next Saturday afternoon at 4. We'll be fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.
As a dreamer of dreams and a traveling man, I have chalked up many a mile.
Join us again next week for a solid dose of truth on the Patrick Riggins Show.